Happy birthday, Miku! So, you know the artist who made her original design, Kay? Well, he also made a manga with Miku and some of the other Vocaloids, and it is genuinely so chaotic and I love it. From my research, I found out that it was first published in the manga Comic Rush before getting its own publication as different manga volumes. This is my copy of the manga, Unofficial Hatsune Mix, and it includes all the volumes, so that's why it's about like 480 pages around there. Basically, each chapter is like its own spin-off story and there's not really much of an overarching plot. Despite that, some of these stories are honestly insane, but like, we'll get to that later. But besides that, the cameos in here are crazy. Like, besides the main Kryptonoids, Kakako also appears in one of the chapters, and so does Teto. But so does Watt, aka Wataru Sasaki, aka the guy who developed Krypton's Vocaloids, is another background character. Honestly, the character selection is crazy in this book, not gonna lie. But before we get into the chapters, you know how manga usually has ads in the back for other series? Mine has an ad for Evangelion, and I feel like that is so funny that an ad for the Evangelion is in a Hatsune Miku manga. So pretty early on in the manga, each character minus Suka, because I don't think she was released when the early chapters were published, gets an introduction. And we need to read through these because they are so just out of pocket. Hatsune Miku needs no introduction, but let's do it anyway. 16 years old, loves singing in lakes, spins them and sometimes chews on them raw. Her personality changes constantly. Some might attribute this to problems at home or emotional instability, but really, it's whatever the song requires. As a super popular idol, sometimes she's got to be the straight man and sometimes the funny one, sometimes the innocent, sometimes the bad girl, and everything else in between. She takes it all in stride. Kakamine Rin, Len's twin sister, 14 years old, wears a large ribbon in her hair as a trademark. Fundamentally, Rin plays the straight man in any situation, but to be honest, her One-san, the one who's not Miku, is much better at this, so she doesn't leave much of an impression. Perhaps it's that she's got strong personalities around her and she just needs to find a new role for herself? Kagamine Len, Rin's twin brother, 14 years old, and naturally, loves playing video games and does so whenever he has the time. He's really good at playing the guitar. They go with the shoulder keyboard in Japan, but hasn't performed with it in public. He doesn't really command that much respect, given that he's a little boy. Sorry, Len fans. One-san, big sister, simply adores drinking, although her eyes usually look weary. One-san can always be relied upon, whether it's to bring a song together or just to be the straight man in a joke. They say she used to be an idol singer before Miku, but any details beyond that are classified. Her age is classified, her real name is classified. Oni-san, big brother, loves eating ice cream. He also loves wearing a scarf, so no one can tell if he's feeling hot or cold. Like One-san, he's a character shrouded in mystery, but unlike One-san, this manga portrays him as a total fool. But that doesn't bother Oni-san at all, and it's not because he has a Nobel spirit or because he's above petty slights. It doesn't bother Oni-san because he's stupid. Once again, sorry to the Kaito fans out there. So the first chapter I want to cover is called Working Mix, and basically the chapter starts off with Miku wanting to host a live show, but thanks to Kaito's recent purchase of an unreasonable amount of ice cream in an industrial freezer to keep it in, the entire household is broke. So Miku, Rin, and Len get sent up to the wonderful, amazing, fantastic world of capitalism to raise money. First, Miku gets a job as an elevator girl where she immediately gets overwhelmed by everyone's floor requests, so she presses every single button. Then Rin and Miku get jobs as train announcers, and then Miku tells her to not be so formal, which leads to Rin announcing the trains like this? And they immediately get fired on the first day. Next, Miku gets a job as a car navigator, but she consults a tour guide instead, and leads a driver to a local restaurant instead of where she actually needs to go. Then Miku gets a job as Watt's campaign volunteer, and whatever this is happens. Next, Miku gets a job as a voice actor, and once again, I have no clue how to explain this, just look at it. Then Len gets a job as a telemarketer, and honestly, I think for the whole effect, you just need to read the page. Job 6, telemarketer. Hello? I'm sure you're really busy right now, and I apologize for bothering you at home, but our insurance company is... Never mind that, you have a really cute voice, girl. Well, actually I'm a boy, but our insurance... Okay, boy, what color are your panties? Click. Telemarketing degrades everyone involved with it. Next, Miku gets a job as a produce auctioneer to a very unenthusiastic crowd, only to be told she's actually there to auction off the fish instead. Lastly, Miku gets a job as a Nico Nico influencer, only to immediately get cyberbullied. But after all those jobs, Miku, Rin, and Len finally have enough money, mostly from being paid to go away, but it's besides the point, they have the money. Miku promises to use the money to set up a concert, but on the day of, it turns out that she used the money to put on her own live show with Kaito and made the others buy their own tickets. Okay, so the next chapter is called Pain Mix, and it starts with Miku presenting the others with a giant pile of trash, and she tries to convince them to make cars with her out of them. When they aren't interested, she tries convincing them by threatening to blackmail everyone by threatening to plaster embarrassing pictures of them onto her own vehicle. So they grudgingly make vehicles out of trash with her, with Mako on a tricycle. Side note, the line, "Death ride the tricycle" is amazing, top tier writing, A+. Rin on a go-kart, Miku in a carriage pulled by Kaito, and Len very resentfully in a stroller dressed as a baby, all because Miku thought it was funny. But while they're parading around on the street, Miko and Rin get stopped by a motorcycle gang leader who won't let them through, who turns out to be Gakupo. Kaito comes to their rescue, saying, and I quote, "How dare you threaten a little kid and a poor old woman?" So Rin and Miko beat him up, understandable, I get it, which sends Miku's carriage flying. While Gakupo and his gang are shocked by the fact they're witnessing Kaito literally get beat to a pulp when they're supposed to be the bad guys, Miku reminds them that technically they're the reason her ride got destroyed. So as consultation, Gakupo and his gang give the other Vocaloids rides on their motorcycles. So the next chapter is called Graduation Mix. It starts with Miku and the others at a recording studio, and they find Mako crying over the fact that they'll all be graduated and replaced with a new idol, and with Mako herself especially being self-conscious about her age. Then Miku tries to comfort her, and once again, you just need to read the whole page to experience it. You're a person with a very high alcohol tolerance, the air of a refined, mature woman. They also go by the enviable moniker boozers, or drunks. You have big boobs. The new girls might be bigger, and they won't have started sagging yet. But you're also so strong-willed, but totally kind and reliable, and she can be relied upon not to keep a boyfriend longer than a week owing to the aforementioned strong will and total lack of kindness. Good luck finding a husband. They really did not need to do all that. So, as a result, Miko runs away crying, and Kaito enters the room and asks the others what just happened. They explain her worries about graduating, and he explains that she felt the same way when Miku, Rin, and Len were first debuting, so with some time she'll feel better. And then he introduces the others to Luka, and she makes her successful debut. But meanwhile, Mako is out getting drunk with Haku with Taito Kansei Sakai. Alright, so the next chapter is called Magical Mix, and basically over summer break, Mako gets on Len's case for not doing anything productive and scolds him, telling him he should at least keep a picture diary. But he has nothing to write about, so he makes up an entry about Miku replacing her twin tails with giant leeks. But the next day, Miku shows up with leeks instead of twin tails, and he realizes the thing he writes in his picture diary actually happened. So Len starts making a bunch of made-up ridiculous entries, like one where a washtub falls on Rin's head and causes a giant bump on her head. He then writes an entry about Luka moving so quickly that she appears in 2 places at once. Then he writes an entry about Mako suddenly wanting to become a cutesy idol. And next, Len writes an entry about Kaito stripping down to just a scarf and shorts while eating ice cream, complaining about how hot he is. Also, side note, Len calling him poor idol trash is so funny. After finding an entry about Miku and Rin getting soaked in a storm, they find his magic diary and quickly put 2 and 2 together. So Miku writes an entry about Len to get back for all the entries he wrote, and I'm just gonna read it out loud. Miku One-chan, said Len, I don't want to wear my idol uniform anymore. The trembling boy blushed as he lowered his eyes. In a demure whisper, he confessed, I want to wear a pretty maid's dress. I want to serve tea and cakes in a charming cafe to you, just to apologize. And also, side note, he's actually happy about this and he's having the time of his life doing this, which is so funny. So to be fair, this book isn't all crazy, and some of the chapters are actually really sweet, like Teacher Mix and Snow Mix. There's also lots of glossy pages full of full-page prints of Kei's art of the Vocaloids, which are all super beautiful. His art style is just amazing. But I just wanted to share some of the crazy chapters because this book is kind of like a fever dream at some points. Like, there's this panel where Miku suggested selling Rin and Mun because they needed money, and there's also a panel where Rin just fat shames Miku. There's also this one time in the book where Len complains about singing weird songs, so I guess sing twice before hitting play on Plus Boy. But I really recommend this book if you like Vocaloid. I got my copy from Barnes & Nobles, but I heard it's also available in other stores internationally. It's just sweet, in my opinion, that even early on in Miku's existence, people like Kay were making manga of her and the other characters, and now on her 17th anniversary, there's so many more manga adaptations inspired by Vocaloid songs. I just think that it's so sweet that even over a decade later, we all love Miku so much to make all this manga of her and still love and support all the producers who are using her in their songs. So happy 17th, Miku, and here's to countless more. Thanks so much for watching.